I wanted to do a short video about card scrapers or veneer scrapers or cabinet scrapers, whatever you might call them. I have three most common: the number 12, number 81, and the number 80. I'll give you a little bit of info on how they're sharpened and how they're used and what I think of the three of them: number 12, number 81, and number 80. These are the tops of them. These are the bottoms. You can see the number 81 has a rosewood bottom. The other two are metal. Stay tuned. As far as creating a burr in a scraper, these cabinet scrapers, most of them recommend a 45-degree bevel. And once you have that 45-degree bevel and then you run your burnisher over it, it's way easier to get that hook, that burr. This is obviously an exaggerated animation, but the idea is you're bending that pointed edge over to create a burr. On a regular cabinet scraper with a square edge, you're actually deforming the metal. In some ways you end up with two burrs, but they're much harder to achieve than with the 45-degree edge. So what I've done here is just to set my bevel there at 45 degrees in order to get my sharpening guide set to 45 degrees, and I've got one of these scraper blades in my sharpening guide, and I'm running that blade over a diamond stone in order to polish that 45-degree bevel. And the idea, similar to sharpening a plain blade, is to polish that 45-degree bevel. And once you've done that, you may actually be creating a little bit of a burr on the flat side. So once you've done this for a while and you're happy with that clean 45-degree bevel, then you'll also flip this blade over and run the flat side against the stone for just a moment to grind off any burr you may have created while leveling that 45-degree edge. So you'll kind of grind that burr off before you take the blade to your vise and then use your burnisher to actually roll the burr into the blade. So I'm just finishing up here, getting a nice even polish along that 45-degree edge. The reason you do this is just to take any nicks out of it and etc., so that when you do scrape on the wood, you have an even scrape across the whole surface of the blade. And you can see it's kind of polished that edge, that 45-degree edge. So once you have that done and you've removed any burr you may have created, then just using a burnisher, you're kind of bending over, and so to speak, you're bending over that 45-degree tip in order to create a burr in the edge. And they're super easy with a 45-degree cut because you're not having to deform very much of the metal. And you're basically rolling over that tip and creating a burr. And that burr is, again, easy to create. It's sharp and it's very pronounced. So once that's been done, you set that in your scraper plane with the burr facing the how do I say this, the downhill side. In other words, just like you'd use a card scraper where you'd hold it in your hands, you push it away from you or towards yourself with the burr doing the cutting. So in this case, I'm pushing this number 81 with the burr facing forward. This is hard, by the way. This is hard beech wood, and you can see the really nice shavings I'm getting off of that. With an 81, you just set the plane on your surface, drop the blade in, maybe apply just a little bit of pressure with your finger as you tighten down the blade, because all you're relying on is the fact that you've just engaged the wood with the blade. With an 81, similarly, you drop the blade in. These two thumb screws hold the blade tight. So you set the plane on the wood, you drop the blade in until it touches, engages the wood, and then what the 80 has going for it is it has another thumb screw that puts a slight bend in the blade. Similarly, when you use a card scraper and you're holding it with your thumbs and your fingers, you put a slight bend to the card scraper in order to engage the wood. Same idea happens with the number 80. You've beveled your blade to 45 degrees. You've taken your burnisher and rubbed a burr into it. And then once you've done that, you simply set the plane on the wood, drop the blade up into the plane, tighten down the blade with the two thumb screws that hold the blade in place. And then what you're allowed to do with the number 80 is, once that blade is just touching the surface of your workpiece, you're able to, with this third thumb screw, add just a little bit of bend to the blade, an ever so slight bit of bend to the blade. But what that allows you to do is adjust your cut really precisely. Here I've kind of hit it just right just by dropping it in, but if I turn this thumb screw just a hair, you'll see I'll get a deeper cut and more shavings will be coming off. But similar to the 81 a minute ago, look at how thin these shavings are coming off of that hard beech with the number 80. I think of the three, my favorite. With the number 12, again, it's similar. My number 12 actually came with a square cut blade, and I've tried through the months to turn a nice burr on it, and you can, but it's harder. It's like doing a card scraper. It's harder to get a burr on a square edge, so I've ended up on one of my two edges here grinding a 45-degree bevel and then turning the burr as I did with these other two planes, the 80 and the 81. Now the difference between those two and the number 12 are these adjusting wheels. So you just engage the blade with the work, with the blade maybe standing up or slightly bending forward, just engaging it with the work. And then as you turn those two adjusting screws on the back, you slowly increase the angle of the blade. And in so doing, as you're increasing the angle of the blade, you're starting to engage the burr with the surface of the wood. So as you slowly bend that forward, you get a little bit deeper bite. So I guess you could argue that this gives you the most fine-tuning ability, even though I think the number 80 gives you plenty of fine-tuning. This gives you the ability to fine-tune that cut. And again, similar to the other ones, you can see the shavings I'm getting are super, super thin. It just about polishes the wood on this surface. It takes a wider cut because the blade is wider. It's got a wider base on it, and in some ways the base of the plane is actually burnishing the wood surface. Either way, really, these give you a very, very smooth wood surface. The number 80, the number 12, or the number 81. I think for ease of use and adjustability, I don't think you can beat the 80. And the other thing the 80 has going for it is it's the cheapest. They're everywhere. You can find them all over the place. They're super inexpensive, super simple. And if I were to want only one, I think I would choose the number 80. As far as collectability, I think it goes the other way. I think the number 12, probably especially as nice a one as I am privileged to have, the beautiful rosewood handles, all the brass. It makes a really nice collectible item, and it's a good working tool as well. The number 80 is mostly a simplistic tool, but I think works the best. And then the 81, again, for collectability, you can hardly beat the looks of it. They're usually nickel plated, very nice casting. They have this lovely rosewood bottom. They really make a nice collectible plane, and they're a good user as well. So I hope this helped. Number 80, number 81, and number 12, Scrapers from Stanley. Thanks for watching. By the way, I have separate videos for the 80 and the 12. I will put those links in the comments. Thanks.